Hello and welcome back to my podcast, Wikiscapes. The topic for today's discussion is landscaping. Well, all of us have heard about hardscapes, softscapes, aquascapes, and whatnot. But what exactly is landscaping? Landscaping is the art of recreating, bringing back the memories, the aura, and the ambience of a natural ecosystem. Say, for instance, an evergreen tropical rainforest of the Amazon into your garden area, into the spill out area of your courtyard, or into your own environs. Landscaping involves aquascaping, hardscapes, softscapes, and to really bring in all those vegetation that a particular ecosystem houses, albeit in a miniature scale. So, when we talk of landscaping, it's essential that we understand certain concepts and the planter's axiom and the thumb rule that one needs to follow to recreate and to bring back the original forest effect into your courtyards or your garden area. First of all, I would like to introduce two authorities on landscaping, Lord Repton and Nan Fairbrother. Lord Repton would argue that having too many varieties of plants in a particular garden would create what he calls too diffuse an effect, a flutter effect, he would argue. So, the thumb rule is to plant one species of a plant to have that enhanced effect, pronounced texture, pronounced feel. If you're going to plant too many plants of different varieties, Lord Repton would argue that it would give you a very flutterish, too diffuse an effect that simply won't enhance the effect of your garden. And any forest area, for that matter, would not house too many plants in a very small area. Fairbrother would argue a tree layer above a shrub layer above a herb layer. So that's a scale that landscaping involves. You have three layers, a tree above a shrub above a herb. So that's how your garden has to look at. You can't have two tall plants clumped together. That simply wouldn't look natural at all. So the idea of landscaping is to recreate the effect of a natural ecosystem. So the thumb rule is to have a tree layer above a shrub layer above a herb layer. And how many plants would you plant? The rule is to go in for uneven numbers. Fibonacci series. 1 plus 2 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. So 3, 5, 7, 9. That's a rule to go about planting the number of plants that you need to plant in a garden. Any even number of plants simply would not look natural at all. Except, of course, if it's going to flank a gate or any pathway area. Or else, the rule planters axiom is to plant in uneven numbers and to have double the number of plants of a particular variety to one. If you're going to plant them in equal numbers, again, that will look very tatty. Regularity is tatty as far as landscaping is concerned. But irregularity, yes, but it's got to be natural. It's got to follow the rules of shrubs, herbs, and trees planted not very close together, but distributed as if in a forest area. Also, a fact of the sun setting in. Any natural object would look at its best with the sun behind it, whereas an artificial object, say for a hardscape or pot or a concrete pot, for instance, would look best with the sun on it. And always plant the warmer colors like the reds and yellows farther from your eye. And the maple leaf trees look best when they're planted closer. But warmer colors like grays and blues look best when they're planted farther than the warmer colors. So cypress or any other blue leafed foliage will look best farther from your eye. As far as landscaping goes, always plant your forest trees away from your home. Don't plant it close together. Liberty of looking at a lawn is always best felt when the open spaces are interspersed with trees planted clumped together here and there, as if in a grassland or a savanna. So we like to, The best landscapist is someone I feel who has trekked the length and the breadth of a particular ecosystem. He's walked and he's felt and he's understood the plants, and you take that magic, that magical effect into your garden. Simply supplanting trees from a particular ecosystem into an area in an artificial mode simply will not work. Coming back to landscaping, have you ever heard of the terms yin and yang, hardscapes, softscapes? Well, landscaping involves natural elements like the rock, water bodies, plants. So any hardscape would mean a built-up area or a rock placed in a lawn. A softscape would be water, would be plants. So yin and yang, one set against the other, always gives you that magical effect of landscaping. And have you ever heard of grapes on trees? Have you heard of plants that are thriving in the Amazon? Igapo forests, flooded forests can survive in our tropical areas? Well, that's very true. You can have Psidium varieties, purple forest goers, Mame supporters, Pauterias, Kupasus, and different forms of cacao, Theobroma cacao, food of gods. We could all have tree grapes, the Amazonian tree grapes being planted here. And going forward, I'll take you to those areas where those trees thrive and yield fruit. So, fruits rich in antioxidants and flavonoids from farm to your table, that's a new age organic farming. Orchard landscaping is a trend here. It's just not flowers, it's not foliage alone. Something that's more of utility, having a tropical fruit orchard landscaping. So that's going to be the pattern, and I'll help you facilitate, get those plants and plant them at what space and what trees require spaces, shades, and what requires sunlight. And that would mean recreating the whole ecosystem of the Amazon jungle or Southeast Asia, Thailand, Philippines. You can have a whole gamut array of fruits in your home garden. Have you wondered why a town planning landscape looks so much better? It's because of scale. Your vast areas of one particular species dominating. For instance, the driveway from the Hyderabad airport or the Bangalore, you have flowering species planted together for miles together. You have that enhanced effect which simply cannot be produced in a smaller scale. But you tone down and you lot to limit. The biggest culprit or the enemy of landscaping is over enthusiasm. People are over enthusiastic to bring in almost every variety of plant into your garden, which simply won't work. You'll have to stick to some basics, bare minimal number of plants to create that magic. And landscaping also involves bringing the finer equipments of irrigation, water bodies, aquascaping. Well, that's a topic for another day's discussion. But again, koi ponds, birds, it's like living in a rainforest, bringing in aviary, bringing in the new age monkeys and the splash of water with otters jumping in as the heart of darkness. Joseph Conrad would explain about a rainforest. He says, while climbing up the mountains or swimming up or going up a river, he always feels as if it's going back in time when vegetation rioted and trees were the kings. God is bigger, but bigger is the jungle, says an Amerindian proverb. Well then, landscaping is there to stay, to create aesthetic appeal, a visual appeal of greenery, and always to have trees for your comfort, for shades, to cut out hideous areas. We always would expect to bring in trees of orchards at your home so that it could also be utilitarian aspect. Well, before I say goodbye, I would say don't forget to hit the like, share, subscribe, and of course the bell icon.